There is a simple 10-minute process that I've done every single night for the last 365 days, and it's made me millions of dollars. It's helped fix my marriage, and it's helped me grow a business helping other men do the exact same thing. This entire process is called the Empowered Man Evening Reflection. It's one of the first things we teach all of our clients who invest thousands of dollars to work with us. And even though it's so simple, it's one of the most powerful things you can do. But most men, they never even think about doing it. And when they're presented the option to do it, they don't have enough time and they make excuses. If you start implementing this in your life, it will change your life forever. So in this episode of the Empowered Man podcast, I'm going to walk you through exactly what this process is, how it works, why it's important, and how it can help you have the health, wealth, and relationships you deserve as a modern day man. Welcome back to the $500 million series. If you don't know what we're talking about, last week we launched a video, or I launched a video on YouTube and our podcast, which was titled The Unconventional $500 Million Morning Routine for Men. And it got a lot of clicks and a lot of likes and a lot of support because men were like, $500 million, what's that got to do with me, right? Now, I want to preface this video by saying that that's a number we've generated for our clients, but that morning routine and what we're about to teach you today, which is called the evening reflection process, they single-handedly fixed my marriage. Like, yeah, other stuff was important, but just those two things, the one we taught on the last podcast, if you haven't checked that out, go check it out. And what we're going to teach today has saved my marriage with Rosie, even though my first one ended. It's made me a better father. It's made me a better leader for my team. Sam can attest to that. I'm a lot less of a dick than I used to be. And it's made the company a lot of money. And it's also going to help me have financial freedom at 35. So in today's episode, I really want you to listen deeply, because whether you're going through a divorce or separation, whether you just want to grow your business, whether you want to be a better man in every way, shape, and form, whatever your goals are, whatever your challenges are, you've got to have this process that we're going to share with you in place. And it's called the Empowered Man Evening Reflection. Now, this is the third video in our series of the Empowered Man series. So the first one was the code that every man must live by. Last week was the morning routine. This week is the reflection. So Sam, why, if a man is going through a separation or divorce, or if he wants to grow and be better, why does a man need this one powerful principle called the evening reflection? You know, it's a lot of men are like, I don't have time for that.
Yeah. The evening reflection. I love the evening reflection. Let me mark this. The evening reflection is a game changer because for so many men, we reflect when things break down, and we reflect over a decade, or we reflect over a marriage or a period of time. Mm-hmm. And then we go, oh, we learn the lessons, and sometimes more often than not, it's too late. Mm-hmm. When we've got a process in place that is daily, you're having those reflection times every day instead of every decade or in every crisis. Yes. When you do that, every day you're reflecting on what happened, the lessons, the challenges, so you can continually upgrade. Mm-hmm. Now, you do that every day for a month. The results, I mean, they speak for themselves with the guys we work with. The results are immense. Same. Do it for a year. You do it for 5 years. You do it for 10 years. You don't find that you're in all of those deep pits like if you didn't reflect.
Absolutely, man.
Putting a mirror to yourself and your challenges, isn't it?
Absolutely. If you want to have a better life as a man, there are two places each day that you can optimize and win. There's the morning, where you wake up and you get into a powerful state of being. So you create that power, you put on that armor, if you will, of I'm unfuckwithable, nothing can challenge me, I can see my vision, I can see my goals, I'm powerful. But then at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you started, life will throw shit at you, and life is fucking hard. If you have a process at the end of the day where you can reflect on what happened, what were your wins, what were your challenges, what were your lessons, and you can plan the next day ahead, now you have two opportunities a day, morning and night, to win. That's like 730 a year. That puts you so far ahead of the competition of other men. It's insane. So you got to have those two things in place if you want to win as a man. And that's what the evening reflection is. It's a process we teach all of our clients. We've taught it to Michael Zarafa, whose companies are going to do about $250 million over the next few years, currently at 100. We've taught it to guys who are going through a divorce. We've taught it to guys who are just, struggling mentally. It's a process each evening where you carve out some time for yourself. Mm-hmm. You carve out some time to reflect on the week. And if you think about that word reflection, it's like putting a mirror in front of yourself. Think about any problem you have in your life. Let's say it's a relationship issue, you're arguing with your wife. If you're consistently arguing with your wife about the same stuff, that means that you have not, or she has not, or maybe both of you have not taken the time to look at the situation and go, how can I change this? Now, you can understand why that happens. We get busy, we're tired, we're stressed. Like, we don't make time for these things for two reasons. One, we're not aware that we can. And two, we don't make the time, like it's the conscious and the unconscious. But if you're listening to this and you want to be better, or you have problems and you're not doing this every evening, you got to start, because it allows you to take every day, no matter how good or bad it was, and use it as a powerful stepping stone to success, right? So you got to have this process in place. You got to reflect on the main questions that we ask ourselves every single evening. So the first step of the evening reflection process is very simple. And we'll drop a PDF down below where you can go through these steps for free. You don't have to opt into anything. Or if you want to join our program, we teach you this in depth. The first step is carving out the time. Now, Sam, we work with a lot of busy, successful guys, right? What's the biggest excuse that we hear around carving out the time and making time for this?
I don't have enough time. I'm too busy. You don't understand how many hours I work. Yeah. Hear it all the time.
Oh, I do, buddy. Oh, I do. Yeah. It's funny, right? Because guys will grind and work their asses off, but when they come home, it's like a switch turns off, isn't it? It's like, I don't have time for this, or I can't do this, which you can sort of understand, right? You can see where they're coming from. It's funny though, when we don't make the time for these things, what ends up happening? We end up losing a shitload of time, don't we? We end up losing a shitload of time by not making the time. So how much time does a man need to do this? First things first.
Look, I carve out 20 minutes, and
that's a long time.
Sometimes I don't need that long. But once I'm on a roll, I mean, we've been doing this for how many years now? Once I'm on a roll, like, there's no stopping me, and I'm almost giving myself more time back by doing it, because of the lessons, all the different dimensions we'll talk through, but the different dimensions of the reflection. I'm learning different dimensions of myself, and I'm taking action much quicker, as opposed to going through all of that pain that's going to cost me so much more time down the track.
100%. It's an investment of time. So the first step to doing this, if you want to try this at home, and it's made us over $500 million for all of our clients, like, that's a pretty good hook. It helps you become successful. It helps you fix marriage. It helps you with everything. We'll explain why. The first step is you've got to carve out some time. There are 168 hours in a week, 10,080 minutes in a week. All you need to do is put in 10 minutes a day tops. That's 70 minutes a week. There's still 10,010 left over. If you frame it like that, you really do have enough time. So you got to schedule this in to your calendar, and you want to do it before you go and hang out with family. So typically, as soon as you finish your work day, as soon as you finish your tasks for the day, sit with yourself for 10 minutes. If you can do this on a computer, on a Google document or a Notion document, you can do it with a pen and paper in a journal, but you want to have 10 minutes by yourself, away from distractions, where you can sit and think. That's the first step. The second step is to ask yourself a series of questions, and you want to commit to these questions. Now, this is the updated version, Sam, so you might not do it the same way, but it's the Notion one. I think you do, right? The first question we ask ourselves is, what parts of my morning power up did I complete? Now, if you watch last week's podcast episode, again, it'll be linked in the show notes. We talked about this power up. Awake at the same time every day, move your body, cold power shower, life design, where you close your eyes and you visualize your dream life, and then expressing yourself, writing down your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions for the day, as well as what you're grateful for. If you do that every morning for the next 7, 14, 21, 90, 180, 365 days in a row, you put yourself in a place of power. So now we don't just do it in the morning. We track in the evening, what parts of my routine did I complete? If I share my screen here to show you how this looks like on my Notion document. So did I wake up on time? Did I move my body? Did I do my power shower? Did I do my life design? What did I do, right? The second question you ask yourself is, what did I do today? And you write down you go back through your day and you write down all the things you did that day. And you go deep, right? So did you watch porn? Write it down. Did you yell? Did you, what are the actions you took, right? What are the actions you took that day? Now, Sam, why do you think this one's important? Because a lot of men will go like, why would I want to reflect on, why would I write down things I did that day? Why is it important to put out on paper or a document the things that you did that day?
It's really important to reflect on what we did that day, because we can very easily frame the day as, oh, I achieved nothing. I did nothing. And how do you feel when you've done that? You feel crap.
Yeah.
But when you start to write down everything you did, all the action that you took, I find it empowering. It's like, oh, wow, I did all of these things. Even though maybe I felt like I didn't achieve everything I wanted to, look at everything I did achieve today.
Yeah.
How can I build on that tomorrow?
Absolutely.
It's really important.
Yeah. And one part of our Empowered Man Code is to become 1% better every day. So if you can do this for 7 days and you write down, what did I do today? And you see that you watch porn 3 times that week, now you can see the pattern, right? It's very hard to change something you're not aware of. And a lot of the time we know we're doing things that take our power away. But when we see it, we can see that it's a problem. So if we write down, what did I do today? Worked, got angry at the wife, worked, yelled at the kids. If we can write those actions down enough times, we bring awareness to it, and then it's a lot easier to change the things that are holding us back. So when you reflect on what you did each day, you write it down step by step, you can see the things you did that gave you more time, made you more money, got you more connection in your relationship. And you can also easily identify the things that did the opposite of that. What are the things I did that day that took my power away, put me in a shitty state, made me less of a father or husband for my partner, got me less results in my business? Think about how often we procrastinate, mentally masturbate, put things off as men. So if you can track what you did each day, it's one of the most powerful tools on the planet. What's made me the most successful in my life has been tracking what I do. So at the end of each day, I write down, what did I do today? I write down what I did when I woke up, what I did throughout the middle of the day, all the way to the end. And I list off all the things I did each day. And then I can see what were the things that took my power away, made me less money, took away my time, made me feel like shit. And what were the things that made me feel great, made me money, helped me become a better partner? I can see the things I did and I can see those patterns. It's so powerful for a man to reflect on the things he does each day. What actions did you take? Write them down daily and you'll see magic begin to happen. Now, the next step is, once you've written down, what did I do today? So we have our morning routine. Did we do it? Yes or no? What did I do? The next question is, was there anything that triggered or disempowered me today? Was there anything that triggered or disempowered me today? Sam, have you ever walked into a messy house after a long day at work?
Yes, I have.
How was that for you? Lots of fun?
Little triggering, brother. Little triggering.
What does triggering even mean, man? Somebody might be listening to this and going like, triggered? The fuck is that? I'm not a gun. What's a trigger? We talked about this in previous video.
It's almost like pulling the trigger on a gun, isn't it? Like being triggered, it's like it's something that you see that's like this little trigger in the gun, and it sets something off in you, whether it's anger, whether it's a reminder of your past, like whatever it may be, and it stirs up those emotions in you.
Yeah. Hey, legend, if you're getting value from this podcast, then you're going to love our Empowered Man 7-Day Challenge. Inside, we've taken some of the best content our clients invest thousands of dollars for to change their lives, and we've given it to you in the course of 7 days. This challenge is worth over $3,000, and you can get it for $37, 97% off. Inside, we'll teach you how to fix your marriage and relationships and reconnect with your partner, your kids, your wife. We will teach you how to take back your time, how to take back your power, get into powerful routines, and how to take control of your life, take control of your mind, take control of your business, take control of your health, take control of your wealth. Sounds too good to be true, but there's a complete money back guarantee. So if you're enjoying this podcast, go to elitebusinessman.com/challenge. That's elitebusinessman.com/challenge. It's going to be in the call notes as well, and you'll be able to register for this challenge that will completely change your life. How many times as men do we lose our shit at employees, friends, family, children, partner, and then we feel guilty afterwards? I did this last night, man. I had a very stressful day, and normally I'm in control of my emotions. I wasn't yesterday. Rosie's stressed about something. She makes a comment that I took personally. So my response is, I'll get it done soon. Just like, relax. She didn't like that. She really didn't like that. I wish she'd just listened, but she didn't. So she gets a little bit upset about it. Now, instead of being a nasty woman or silent treatment, she says to me like 2 minutes later, she's like, I don't like the way you spoke to me. And instead of accepting her mature response, my response, Sam, was, oh, just get over it. Now, that's very unlike me. That's not how Tony typically operates. And I felt guilty right after I did it, but I also felt pissed off and angry because I'm like, why do I have to fucking deal with this? That was my attitude. Very childish for a mature father, husband, and business owner, correct? So long story short, that triggered me. And I was thinking like, why did this trigger me so much? I had a stressful day. Rosie was stressed. Like at the end of the day, it was on me. It was my responsibility for that trigger. So if I can identify, and if you can identify each day, what are the things that trigger you? True success for men comes from understanding the things that trigger you, that take your power away. You come home, the house is a mess, you get triggered and angry. You yell at your employees or kids. You have an expectation that isn't met. If you think about most of the misery in your life, it comes from being triggered. It's like holding a gun. The gun can't hurt you until you pull the trigger. If you don't pull the trigger, it can't kill you. It's the same for men in their personal lives. There are going to be things that trigger you, moments in time, people, problems that cause anger, frustration, sadness, hurt, guilt. If you can identify what those triggers are and change the power they have over you, then you become in control of your thoughts, feelings, actions, and reactions, which means you become in control of your results. You've got to identify triggers. So triggers are the things that piss you off each day that take your power away. So you just write a list. What are the things that triggered me today? And again, you start to see patterns arising within those triggers. Now, we also have a process at The Empowered Man. I'll read it out to you right now. And again, we'll put it in the show notes. Have you ever had something, Sam, that you identify as a trigger, something pisses you off, it upsets you? Let's say, for example, wife says, I don't love you anymore. Massive trigger. You ever had a trigger before that you just can't get through? You just can't figure it out. You can't work through it. Ever had that?
Yeah, of course.
Cool. So what do you do when you can't work through a trigger and you feel like shit?
Without processes like this, you stew on it. It just goes around and around in your brain. Just goes around and around. It circles. We get more overwhelmed. We build a bigger story. We take all sorts of, we just feed into the story, don't we? We just make the problem larger and bigger, and it becomes all consuming.
Or we sedate.
Yeah.
The amount of times in my life, and if you're listening to this and you're guilty of it, please let me know. The amount of times in my life that I've been pissed off or upset, it's not recently. The last year I haven't done this, last 2, but I would just go, fuck it, I'm going to have a drink. I'm going to smoke something, or I'm going to, watch something. It's when we lose control and we get triggered or take our power away, we so often go into this downward spiral. So like the wife says something you don't like, and then instead of like dealing with it and identifying the trigger, you got on this downward spiral, disconnection. And over a period of years, that causes divorce. There's this sedation. There's this hiding from the truth, which is, holy fuck, I'm triggered. I'm upset, right? So whenever you have a trigger and you can't work through it, you're identifying it, you're aware of it, there are 12 questions you can ask yourself. And I'm going to rapid fire these. Number 1, what was the specific trigger in the situation? What happened? Specifically, what happened? I came home, the house was a mess. That's the specific trigger. Question number 2. Who was involved in this trigger? So write down the people, separate yourself from it, your wife, your kids, etc. Question number 3, what feelings came up for you around this trigger? So now you identify the feelings. Do you feel angry? Do you feel sad? Do you feel guilty? Just isolate the feelings. What we're doing here is we're isolating different parts of you so we can work through them. So what do you feel physically and emotionally? What thoughts and stories, number 4, what thoughts and stories did I create about this trigger? So those feelings are attached to stories. You come home, the specific trigger is the house is a mess, your wife and you are involved as the kids, you feel angry, you feel pissed off. The story is, my wife doesn't care, she doesn't understand me, I've worked hard all day. Just identify the story, bullet points. What are you thinking about? Because that story may or may not be true. It's just a story. You don't know yet, right? Question number 5. What is the specific outcome that I want in this situation? And you're going to see something happen here when you get to this question. You will often realize that those feelings you have of negativity and disempowerment and those thoughts and stories in your head are not going to get you to the outcome that you want. Right? Like yelling at your wife, the outcome you want is a clean house and her to respect you. The outcome that you want is not going to be achieved if you stay in the trigger. When has that ever worked? See how logical this is, right? So what is the specific outcome that I want in this situation? Write down what you want. I want the house to be clean, blah, blah. Question number 6, how's the story getting me closer to my outcome? Now, Sam, if you actually give this exercise the time of day it deserves, what do you think the answer is going to be almost 100% of the time?
You hear the penny drop and you go, oh, yeah, it's not.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is where we flip the script. The next 6 questions, halfway through. What can I take ownership and responsibility for around this trigger? What a fucking question. This we talked about in the last few podcast episodes. Ownership, responsibility, one of the character traits of successful men. It doesn't mean that whoever else is involved isn't blameless. You might be triggered because somebody stole your money or the government locked you up with vaccine mandates. You're allowed to feel the trigger. You're not a robot. But what can you take ownership and responsibility for? How you react, what you think about, the actions you take, how much power you let it have over you. There's a lot you can take responsibility and ownership for. Question number 8, how do I want to feel in this situation? Not how do you feel, how do you want to feel? So you come home, you're angry, pissed off. You want to come home and feel excited to be home and feel respected and feel loved. Awesome. Question number 9, what story can I create about this situation? What thoughts get me closer to my outcome? How can I reframe the story? So, how many reasons could there be for the house being a mess and your wife not doing the work that you expect her to do, Sam? How many?
Off the top of my head.
Go. Listen.
She had a full-on day with the kids.
Yep.
She had a crisis come up that she hasn't yet told me about because I've just walked through the door. She's feeling overwhelmed and needed a day. She had someone drop in unexpectedly. She had a work call.
Let's cut it down. What if she's suicidal?
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a fucking story. Now you might go listening to this, but the house is always a mess. You don't know. Just because it's a mess doesn't mean that you know the full story. So what story can I create about the situation? The house is a mess. I'm not okay with that. However, yelling's not going to help me. I get to guide and support my partner in being more organized. I get to be in control of my feelings and thoughts and not yell at the kids. See how we were reframing the story? It's all just language, right? To get you closer to the outcome that you want. Question number 10, once you've given this the time it deserves, what are the key lessons to take away from this trigger? What can I learn to grow? So now you take the trigger and the problem and the disempowerment and you learn from it. I can learn that I could be home a little bit earlier. You just write down the lessons. Question number 11, what, if any, actions am I going to take from this trigger? So now you've learned these lessons. You've written a new story. You want to feel a different emotion. You're taking ownership and responsibility. What actions are you going to take from this trigger? Because there's no point listening to these podcasts and hearing all this shit if you don't take action on it. If you leave this podcast and go, that fucking made sense, I should probably do this. I want to make $500 million. And you go back to your old life, what was the point of listening? So what actions are you going to take? And then question number 12, how do I feel now when I think of this trigger? And the answer is often grateful. And that's how you turn your pain into power. So that is the question. And that is breaking it down. Was there anything that triggered / disempowered me today? Next question. What patterns did I repeat today? What do we mean here, Sam? What do you mean by what patterns did I repeat today?
When we look at patterns, there's something that disempower us or, for example, if someone is drinking 10 beers a night and they're starting to, maybe they are on a journey of personal development and going, you know what, I want to do something different. And then they come home and they're in this default process and they're like, oh, I did it without even thinking. I just got on the beers. I repeated the pattern. You own it. You own it. You create clarity around it. Pattern of anger, a pattern of reacting.
Absolutely. So the most common ones we see at the Empowered Man, if you're listening to this, let me know. Not spending enough time with your partner or your kids. Argument with your partner or wife. Getting stressed. Drinking alcohol, taking drugs. Not drinking enough water. Not eating enough food. Eating too much food. Not exercising or skipping exercise. Watching porn. Procrastination. Getting triggered. Sleeping in. self-sabotage, working late, not following through on your commitments. You can see how for a lot of men, including us in the past, we're not perfect. Those patterns come up a lot, don't they? Self-sabotage, procrastination. It's a massive pattern for a lot of men. Again, all we're doing is we're identifying each night what we're doing so we can see the data points, right? In a business, you wouldn't run a business without seeing your bank account balance each week. So you've got to have data points. Next question. What did I achieve today? Writing down your lessons and your achievements. Building a multi-million-dollar business, having property investments, and being a millionaire at 31, pretty cool achievement. However, one of the biggest problems in my life was this belief that I wasn't good enough. I'm not good enough. I should be better. I should be further ahead. I should be doing more. I should all over myself. I must debate all over myself. And these expectations are so high. One of the fastest ways I was able to fix that was every night writing down my achievements. I'd get to the end of the day and feel like I did nothing. That's just a story. What did I achieve today? I had this meeting. I talked to my wife about how we can improve our relationship. I invested in this thing. If you can write your achievements down each and every single day, it takes away those stories of not being good enough, and it helps you as a man appreciate yourself and get the most out of every single day. And this is what a lot of men struggle with. They get to the end of the day and they're like, I got nothing done today. It's like, well, is that true? What did you achieve today? What did you do to move the needle forward? And what did you do to progress your life? If you can identify that, you can do more of those things. Sam, really quickly, what are one or two examples of what men can do in terms of achievement? What's an achievement for you and for the guys we work with?
An achievement is celebrating success. An achievement is looking at your day, looking at your schedule or whatever you did and acknowledging it. I like to think of it as acknowledging achievements and increasing capacity, because when I see how much I've achieved, that drives me to increase my capacity to build on it tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's the 1% from the code. Build on it tomorrow, build on it the next day. And then we just become these action-taking machines. And often we're saving time because we're operating on a whole other level.
Absolutely.
It's really cool.
I've seen it in you, man. The way you operate now compared to a year ago, completely different. And part of that is me pushing you into it. I want you to be more productive, be more organized. And you see it, your output is more than doubled. What you can get done now without getting overwhelmed is insane. And this is how you upgrade your capacity. You become better as a man, Next question. We're almost done. It might seem like a lot. It's really not. What did I learn today? So we've written down, what did I achieve? What patterns did I repeat? Was there anything that triggered me? What did I do? What parts of my routine did I do? What did I learn today? You write down your lessons for the day. It could be as simple as learning something from this podcast. It's so easy to hear something and go, that's awesome. And then in the moment that you need that principle or that lesson, you don't use it. For example, next time you get triggered at your partner, you understand that you can take ownership of that and you're in control, but you yell anyway. You forgot the lesson. If you can take a lesson each day, reflect on the day and write down those lessons, you begin to win. Up on my wall here, I have principles. Seek first to understand before seeking to be understood. Simplicity scales. Keep it simple, stupid. KISS. There is no problem in my life that I have not created or allowed. These are lessons that I've learned, that I've written down, that I read daily to remind me in the moments that I really need them, right? So write down your lessons for the day. What did you learn from this podcast, from your interactions, from your thoughts, from your feelings? What were your lessons for the day, right? Almost done. Next question. What can I do to improve tomorrow? What's one thing you can do to improve the day ahead, right? Is it read a book? Is it finish that project? Is it take more action? What's one thing you can do? Now, once we've answered all these questions, the next step, something we do at the Empowered Man, is we have something called a battle plan, where every quarter we map out our goals and our targets. And this is where we read our goals and our targets. So we've got them written down. And for you, you can just write down your goals and targets. What do you want to achieve this quarter, this month, and this year? And you read them and you put them at the top of your mind. So every night you look at the goals that you have and what you want to achieve. Why is this so important, Sam? Why is it so important to see goals daily? Because how many of us set New Year's resolutions and then never fucking achieve it? Why is the step so important?
We set goals because we want to move towards something. And when if we set quarterly goals and we forget to revisit those goals until the end of the quarter, we've just shortchanged ourselves. When we're looking
Mhm.
at it daily, it's almost in our mind, in our body, we're just ensuring that we're facing toward what we want. We're facing
Yeah.
toward what we're moving towards. And it's like a daily stock take.
Yeah.
How can I improve tomorrow? Looking over my goals, am I moving toward that? Or
Mhm.
is the patterns I'm repeating, is that moving me further over this way? And it's just
Yeah.
that reset daily. I
Yeah.
love it.
I love that. It's a good way of saying it. It's like a stock take. Yeah. So here's what I do to be successful and grow as a man. I track my goals every single day. I used to set New Year's resolutions, and then within a month, I've forgotten what I was going to achieve. The year ends, I'm like, fuck, another year's gone, haven't achieved anything. What I do now is every evening, I read my goals in my health, my wealth, and my relationships. And because they're at the top of my mind and I read them daily, I can course correct if I haven't taken the right actions that day, and I can move forward towards them the next day. You wouldn't check your bank balance once a quarter or once a year. You check it daily a lot of the time so you can see where you're at. And if you can read your goals daily, you got to first know what they are, and then you got to see them every single day. You're going to achieve them a lot faster. It's what's worked for me and hundreds of our clients. So you got to write down your goals and you got to read them every single day in health, wealth, and relationships.
Mm.
The final question: what are my outcomes for tomorrow? What are my outcomes for tomorrow? What are the actions you're going to take? What time do you wake up? What do you do when you wake up? When are you doing your routines? What have you got scheduled in your calendar? At Empowered Man, what we do is we literally map out the entire day from 4:45 a.m. to 7 a.m. morning routine, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. meeting, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. podcast. I map out my entire day by the hour, which is a lot, right? But that way, when I wake up, I don't have to think about what to do. I don't have to
Mm.
freestyle my day. I know exactly where I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to be doing. So few men do this. They don't plan this, right? Why is it so difficult for men to plan tomorrow today? Because you can see in principle how it's such an important thing to do, but very few of us do it. Why is that?
I think so many men don't plan tomorrow today is because I know I was never taught how to do that. You're the first person that's ever taught me to do that.
Mm,
I would mark out 9 till 10 a.m. every morning to plan out the day. An hour's gone.
yep,
Do
yep,
you know what I mean?
yep.
And then that hour, I know how productive I can be in an hour now.
Mm-hmm.
That's precious time. And we waste time. And if we're not sort of feeling it, then it's 9 till 11 and we're planning and we're not really sure and we don't achieve as much.
Mm-hmm.
What we're doing is, we wake up then with intention when we've got a
Yes.
plan, when we know, okay, I'm up at this time. This is what I get straight into every
Yep.
single day. And you don't have to think about what to do next. It's right there.
Exactly. It's right in front of you. And it's not difficult. It's like, what am I going to do tomorrow? And guess
Yeah.
what? The next day you go through it and you go, did I do what I said I was going to do? And you can
Yeah.
see the deficiencies. You can see the procrastination, where you've wasted time, etc. So like this has helped Rosie and I immensely because our relationship was on the rocks for a long time because I was so busy. I was busy every single day. And then when I was with my wife, I was constantly triggered and angry. When as a man you're successful in one area, your business or career, but your relationship's falling apart, it's not really success. In my relationship, I made money, but I was arguing with my wife and constantly triggered and upset at her. It was only when I started to get myself together and plan my days so that I stopped being busy and I started being productive that I could now give more time to my wife. I used to be able to get 2 hours of productive work done in a day. You might be listening going, that's not a lot. It was a huge amount. I'd work 8 hours a day, but only 2 hours was productive. When I started planning my days, I now do 8 hours of productive work. I'm 4 times ahead of the competition, and I still have time for my wife and kids. So you got to plan tomorrow today. You got to plan each night. What am I doing the next day? Block by block, schedule it in. If you do that, you will be miles ahead of the competition as a husband, as a father, as a business owner, and as a man.
Hmm.
And my friends, that might seem complex, but it's a really, really simple process. Carve out 10 minutes every single evening to ask yourself these following questions. Write them down. What parts of my morning routine or power up did I complete? What did I do today? Was there anything that triggered or disempowered me today? Write it down. What patterns did I repeat today? What are the things you do each day that take away your power? What did you achieve today? What did you learn today? And what's one thing you can do to improve tomorrow? Then read all of your goals, and based on those goals, Ask yourself, what are my outcomes for tomorrow? Plan tomorrow today and do that every single day. And I've done this, mate, for the last 37 days. Before Christmas, I did it for about 87 days or 90 days, something like that. It's just a part of who I am now. And it's part of the success that we've achieved at Empowered Man. And it helps me be a better husband, father, and man. So anything you want to add to this, Sam, before we jump off and share the cheat sheet with the guys?
My encouragement would be for anyone watching this and you haven't got a process of reflecting, try it for a week, try it for 2 weeks, try it for a month. It may be the difference between the level you're operating on now and you absolutely skyrocketing your success, not just in business, but in your relationships, your personal growth, and every other area of your life. Try it on, see how it fits.
Absolutely. Give it a crack. I mean, this is what like $100 million CEOs do. We teach it to them and it works so powerfully. And it's a 10-minute investment of time that will give you 2 hours back a day easily when you master it. So if this is something you do want to try on, I'll drop a link down below where you can download the entire cheat sheet for this evening reflection. This is what our clients pay thousands of dollars for. You can have it for free, even if you never work with us. So go check that link out down below. And next week, we're going to go even deeper into how the Empowered Man program works and how it can help you fix your marriage, find work-life balance, reconnect with your children, and ultimately being the best man you can be for your family. So if you got value from this podcast, make sure you give it a thumbs up and give it a rating, drop a comment wherever you're watching from, and we'll see you guys for the next episode. Have an amazing day. Hey, brother, I hope you got a ton of value from that podcast. If you would like to work with us personally and get some of the best content we've launched for our clients who have invested thousands of dollars, then go and complete our 7-day Empowered Man Challenge. This mission will completely transform your life. If it doesn't, you won't have to pay a cent. It's only $37, and it is game-changing if you want to take back control. So if you want to find balance between business, family, and life, if you want the relationship, the health, the wealth that you deserve, then go to elitebusinessman.com/challenge. That's elitebusinessman.com/challenge and take up this challenge to take back control of your life.